Watch Symposium. I'm Austin, and this is a paid video for Danny P. All right, now this isn't Captain Danny, and it's not Danny G in Florida. He's got a video coming up too. This is Danny P. A lot of Dannys like watches, I guess, but you might remember Danny P from a few months back. I did a collection review for him. He's a super collector. He's got something like 8 Rolexes, a bunch of Hublots. In fact, his collection was so big, I had to divide it up into 2 videos. Links in the description to check out what Danny had a couple months ago. And he's gotten 4 new pieces. He wants me to check them out. He writes, "Hey Austin, I recently added a Patek Aquanaut 5164R to my collection and a Rolex sub-date, a no-date Rolex sub, and an Omega Apollo 11 50th anniversary Speedmaster. I would like for you to review these watches as well. I replaced the Oyster bracelet with a Super Jubilee bracelet on my sub-date. I would like to know what you think about it. I figured my no-date sub already has an Oyster bracelet, so why not change it up? I transferred you the $40 and attached are the pics. Thanks, Dan." All right, thank you, Danny. And let's start out with the Patek. All right, this is a beautiful travel time, and I love that complication. They have the travel time in a Calatrava. They have it in an Aquanaut. They might have it in a Nautilus as well, and they certainly have it in their Pilot's watch. That's a 5524 reference. Too big. I've tried that watch on in Thailand, and again, I love the complication, but that was too big. I think this is perfect. This is a 40.8 millimeter watch, and I think that's the perfect size. They make the Aquanaut in a 36 millimeter. I think that's too small. I think 40 millimeter is definitely the way to go. And this is made out of rose gold. Now, they also make this in a steel version, and this is just personal preference, but I probably would have gone steel. I'm just a steel guy. I like the look better. As for value retention, and I got to talk about this because in Danny's last videos, that was an issue. He wanted me to talk about value retention and kind of these watches as investments. And I think they are investments to him because the way he put it, he wears some of them, which implies he doesn't wear others, which means he's kind of keeping them, I think, for value retention and perhaps to flip in the future. So the 5164R retails at Patek for 60,000 USD, and that's about what you can buy it for on Chrono 24 right now. Now, if you live in Japan, it sells for a premium about 10,000 more, 70,000 USD. So if you have the rose gold Aquanaut travel time here in Japan, you're doing a little bit better than if you have it in the States. But the real value is in the steel piece. That sells for 40,000 at Patek, and it sells on Chrono 24 for about 15,000 more. So it's got a 15,000 premium, and here in Japan probably even more. I want to say 20,000 probably. People love steel Pateks for some reason. I get it. I mean, I love steel pieces, and I think steel Pateks are kind of special. I think they make more precious metal pieces than anything. So I don't know how much Danny paid for this watch. I know with his Rolexes, he bought quite a few on the gray market, paid a premium for them. I don't know if he bought this at Patek. If he did, I think he did well. I think this will hold its value. I think if he passed up a chance to get the steel version, I think that might have been a mistake. I would rather wear the steel version, but looking at it strictly from value retention, I think the steel one would be the one to have. But again, maybe he just likes gold, and if so, it's a beautiful watch. And I don't really like gold watches, but man, I would wear this in a heartbeat. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous watch. It's got a beautiful brown face. Can't really tell from this picture, but a brown rubber strap. It's a fantastic watch, and you can take it in the water, and it's got that, I don't know if I would take it in the water, probably not, but you could. It's an Aquanaut, and it's got that really useful travel time complication. I love GMTs, I love travel watches, and it's got a cool date indicator, sub-dial at the 6 for the date, and it's just a really classy watch. And so thumbs up on this one. I'd be a little bit more pleased to have seen you get the steel version, but maybe you couldn't get it. Not a big deal. Again, I don't want to criticize too much because this is fantastic. Okay, the Rolex sub. So he's got a ceramic date sub and a ceramic no date sub. And again, I don't know if he paid retail or gray market prices. That would determine whether he gets the thumbs up or not. Anybody can pretty much shell out the money for gray market pieces. And, you know, I don't know if that's such a great value. And I think we're seeing with the current situation, prices going down. So I hope he got these for retail. And if he did, I don't think he can go wrong. I don't think these pieces will ever go below retail. As far as the watches, I mean, you guys know how I feel. I think they went a little too big with the case, right? The lugs are too big, and that's my criticism. And I'm like a broken record. If you've seen my channel, my videos, you know how I feel about these lugs. But in the future, not this year, but in the future, we're going to see a new sub. And if they change that, this could become a classic. This, this big lug Submariner, all right? The fat boy, all right? And so I think it's a good thing that he has these. Again, if he paid retail, 2 thumbs up for that. And he's got a no date version, and he's got the date version. And again, I hope he is wearing them and enjoying them, says the notorious hoarder, right? Practice what I preach, not what I do, right? I'm a hoarder too, man. I know how it is. But anyway, these are cool pieces, and they'll be especially cool once they change them. And the more drastically they change the case shape on the next Submariner, I think the more potential these have to be, interesting. I don't want to say classics. I guess any Submariner is a classic, but an interesting blip in the history of the Submariner, the fat boy, or whatever you want to nickname it. Now, as far as putting the Jubilee bracelet on the sub, hey man, I mean, it's just fun. I put a Jubilee bracelet on my Explorer too, and some people loved it, some people hated it. Would Rolex approve? Hell no. But that's part of the fun. You're a non-conformist. So absolutely, I think it looks really cool. And I'm glad to see Danny doing this. You know why? Because Danny's collection, if you kind of look at it, it looks like a contemporary retail authorized dealer. And it's a beautiful collection, but it's boring as hell. And I'm glad to see Danny is not a robot and a piece of software ordering hot watches from gray market dealers. This is a very human move to for shits and giggles put on a Jubilee bracelet on his no date sub. So I totally approve. Have fun with it. It looks kind of cool. I think the Jubilee bracelet would look better on a 5-digit, to be honest. But again, it's that case. You got thick case, thick lugs, but that bracelet never widened. It was still 20 millimeters, and that's why this watch, and I'd say this watch is 2 watches we're looking at. I know, but it's the same case. They look bad, in my opinion, on NATO's. It's just, it just looks odd. And I wouldn't want Rolex to widen the bracelet to 22. I think that would be a mistake. I want them to keep it at 20, but again, I think in the future they'll taper those lugs. And when they do, all of a sudden, this will become cool because it won't make it anymore, right? And then I'll want one, right? And I'll stop bitching about it and start lusting over it because that's the way I am. I always want these, I used to hate the what is it, 116710 all black ceramic GMT. I could have gotten one of those. Those were cheap. I paid more for my P serial GMT than what I could have gotten. I could have gotten one of those. Now, they don't make them anymore. No more monocolored ceramic bezels. No all black. No oyster bracelet. I want one now. It's weird. Anyway, we always want what we can't get. I'm like a shining example of that. I don't know. Maybe it's a character flaw. Are you guys like that as well? Anyway, let's look at his last piece, and that's a Omega Apollo 11 50th anniversary Speedmaster. All right, this is a limited edition. Now, Omega is notorious for making their limited editions, and it's almost become like a laughing stock. And look, I don't know if that's to work punters up to, oh my gosh, it's a limited edition, I better get it while I can, or if it's just a way to tell us we're not trying to make you get it. We're just letting you know that we're not going to make it in the future. This isn't a permanent fixture in our catalog. And if that's the case, I can kind of understand it. But limited editions are, for the most part, they don't really hold their value. And again, they sort of have a bad reputation. Now, choosing certain limited editions, I mean, you can do really well with Snoopy. I mean, it's almost like choosing Speedmasters. It's like buying stock. I mean, like on the stock market, which ones are going to go up? Which ones are going to go down? I mean, most are going to go down, but a fair few you're going to do really well with, like that Snoopy, all right? Now, I could have called this one that it wouldn't do well, and it doesn't seem to be doing well. It's a beautiful watch, don't get me wrong. It retails for $11,000 to $12,000. I certainly hope you didn't pay more on the gray market. My guess is you didn't. I think you probably could have found this. Here's a big red flag as to this would be a limited edition I wouldn't go for. The number, okay? It's celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11, all right, which happened in 1969. And they're making 6,969 pieces, okay? Now, if they had made 1,969 pieces, that would make sense, okay? And it would be a small number, and I would say, okay, you might want to watch that one, but they're just shy of 7,000 of these pieces, okay? And so it's really kind of awkward because 69, like 6,969 pieces, that doesn't make any sense. So it would have made sense logically if they had limited it to 1,969 pieces, but it also would have made it more desirable. And they just made too many of them. And you can find these, well, here in Japan, it's the premium is like 500 more than it sells for at Omega. But it's not like you could buy it at Omega and go to flip it for that much. I mean, this is the gray market price, and they probably screwed somebody on that and then tacked on 500 USD. But that's Japan, right? In the States, you can get it, I want to say, for 11,300. And so investment wise, not what you should have gotten. And how do you choose these? Well, really genuinely low numbers, first of all. And maybe you got to use your gut. If you love Snoopy and you think it's a cool, kind of clever Speedmaster, I think other people might follow suit, feel the same way about it. But if you look at it and you think, yeah, this is just one of many, then maybe your gut's telling you no, steer clear, okay? So as far as this, I mean, my gut when I first saw it, I criticized this watch. If you guys remember that video I made, a lot of, Omega people really upset about that. And I criticized the subdial at the 9. There's a man's ass on there. And look, I mean, it's a picture, apparently an illustration based on a picture that was taken on the moon. I get it. But I'm not much for the attempt at art or whatever that is. And I think that actually detracts from it. And that's where I want to say the sub-seconds are, and you get the sub-seconds going around the picture, and it's weird and awkward, and I'd rather have just, a regular subdial so I can use and understand, like, the seconds. So it's not a particularly compelling picture. I think it makes the watch unbalanced. My issue with this from like a aesthetic standpoint is just that subdial. Okay, if they had just done away with that illustration in gold in favor of just a subdial with the seconds, the second hash marks, it would be beautiful and balanced, and I would like it a lot more. But they kind of got cute with it, and I'm not a fan. It almost looks blue in this picture, but it's actually a black watch. And, some pictures of this look blue, but it is a black watch. And it comes in its huge, gigantic box and 2 patches, and the patches for your clothes. And it's weird. It's like you never would want to use those patches. You'd want to keep it a full set, which it's like, you have those patches. You probably want to use them, but you can't. You'd be crazy to. Instant, full set devaluation. But to have them sitting there like, sew me on something, have fun with me. It's like packaging a watch with like a couple, nicely wrapped chocolates. It's like you can't have them, but they're meant to be used and had, but you can't have them. So it's weird. I don't know. The patches sort of bother me because, I don't know. Man, I'm focusing on the patches a bit too much, aren't I? All right. So anyway, yeah, it is an attractive watch aside from that sub-dial. If you like it and you bought it because you want to wear it, cool. I get it. Now, as far as investment in the future, I mean, it's clear it's not, I mean, I don't think you can probably find that at Omega anymore. And so it's probably the highest it ever will be. And in the future, will it go up? No, it's not going to go up. They're going to come out with more, limited editions, and other things will take up the pages of Hodinkee and whatever, and this will be forgotten. And if you want to get out of it, probably a couple of months before the beer virus. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. This could, the gods of horology could work their magic, and for some reason this could go the way of the Snoopy. I don't see it. Usually when those Omegas are hot, they're hot off the bat, and it just continues. It's not like, they kind of putter out like this one did, and then all of a sudden, the world has a collective awakening and it just, soars. So I hope you like it. I don't think you're going to make any money. You probably lose money on this one. It is a beautiful piece. I've got some, criticisms as far as the sub-dial, obviously. And it's got beautiful, gold accents, and it is an attractive piece, but, nothing like these other 3 pieces. It's like, it's basically you've got serious class with the Patek. You've got some really well-respected Submariners here, and then you've got, something that, somebody's parents got him for his graduation present from university, right? And parents and child alike are not even watch people, that kind of situation. But, hey, 3 out of 4 ain't bad, right? And I think you did well, Dan, and you got plenty of other watches, as we know, to rely upon. Thanks for your question. Let me know, and Dan know, what you think of his purchases. Was I wrong? Did I nail it? Where was I wrong? I mean, let me know. And where was I right? Be sure to subscribe. Give this a thumbs up if you don't mind. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.